Hello, my name is Kimberly Villalba. I am the school librarian at Luther Burbank Middle School. This summer, I had the opportunity to participate in the Fulbright Hays group projects abroad in London, sponsored by the Tang Center for Silk Road Studies at UC Berkeley. We spent a summer in London working collaboratively with the British Library, the British Museum, Oxford University, and Cambridge to create instruction for our K through 12 students back home on the Silk Road. I was inspired by the innovation, the cross-cultural exchange, and the relationships people had not only 1,000 years ago on the Silk Road, as we witnessed through the artifacts, but the exchange we had working together in the program as well. I really wanted to replicate that experience of having these artifacts in front of you and making inferences and observations on what was going on in the creation of these documents. This lesson aims for students to immerse themselves in the role as a tradesperson in 11th century Dunhuang. The main objective is for students to understand the cross-cultural exchange, the resourcefulness, and the human connections that occurred on the networks on the Silk Road. Kids will learn how these relationships and innovations was developed in the lesson. The lesson I created is about being resourceful and paper making. All right, so you should all have your role. We're gonna go over, so amongst yourself, you should have a scribe.
Scribes, raise your hand.
All right, so scribes, right on the table there is a clipboard with a worksheet and a row of stickers. Those are your tools for today. There's also a pencil, that is also your tool. If you're the group ambassador, you are the speaker of your group, you're the representative.
Raise your hand, ambassadors. Okay.
All right, so we will have individual questions, and then we will also have group ambassador questions, and you will answer for those. So listen closely when I go ahead and call on you. Siever, dryer, transfer, and mixer, those roles are pretty much self-explanatory. If you need clarification, there will be a demonstration and you can ask questions then, okay? All right, so if I could please have the scribes hold up that sheet of, that little row of stickers for me, please. Excellent. Excellent. Now go ahead and take that blue sticker and place it on your chest. This is for everyone to see, and this is also for me to see, so I can quickly identify who's doing what. All right, so now go ahead and pass it over to the group ambassador. Group ambassador, you will go ahead and take that red sticker and place it on your chest. And then you will go ahead and pass it on to the siever. Siever, you take the yellow sticker. Dryer, you will take the green sticker. Transfer, you will take that light blue sticker. I understand that there are some of you that have a couple of roles. So if only one of you has that sticker on you, that is fine. It doesn't really matter. It's just I have to see who is doing what, okay? All right, and then mixer, take that black sticker and place it on your chest. When you all have your stickers, please give me a thumbs up so I know that everyone is, okay, awesome. All right. If I could please have the note takers just quickly jot down your teammates' names on that worksheet, please. All right, so in your groups, you are going to answer the question, what was the Silk Roads? So this is a group question. Group ambassadors, when I call on you, be ready, okay? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to quickly answer that question and write your names down. What was the Silk Road?
cooking
All right, let's hear from group number 3. Group number 3, what was the Silk Road?
Be respectful.
The Silk Road was a major trade route that was used by a bunch of people.
Thank you, group number 3. Is there any other group that would like to add? Yes, group number 1.
The Silk Road was a trading route across Asia and Europe. That's just the location.
Okay, thank you. Is there a group that would like to add to that group's answer? Let's hear from group number 2.
They traded goods like silk and paper.
They traded goods like silk and paper. Okay, yes. Excellent. Do we agree? Yes? All right. Thank you for sharing. So the Silk Road was a network of trade routes. It wasn't just one trade route, it was many. This trade route was on land and it was on sea, and it existed from 114 BCE to 1450 CE. It did facilitate the goods of ideas, technologies, and goods like spices and paper. Paper is our main character today. You will create some paper. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to part 1 of this activity, now that we have an understanding. And for this activity, I'm going to ask you all to please close your eyes. Everyone, please close your eyes. I'm checking. Close your eyes. All right, so we are going to transport ourselves to 11th century Dunhuang. So you are all part of a community of tradespeople in Dunhuang, China. And you've come across an opportunity of a lifetime. A wealthy scribe has announced a great prize for anyone who can come up with the best tools, best materials, and the best method that will help spread their knowledge. They are offering a lot of resources. Enough resources that will help provide for you and your family for an entire year. All right. You can open your eyes now. Are we in 11th century Dunhuang?
Yeah.
Yes? All right. So before you will see 2 sections of tools and materials that you will use to make some paper. Okay, so listen closely. When I call your group's number, your group's ambassador is going to take one item from either one of these sections. Then you will go back to your section and I will call another group number. So this will go on until we have run out of items from that table. We have scraps from an Amazon package, a cereal box, used tea bags, and a used dryer sheet. We also have a strainer, a sieve, nylon socks, and a picture frame. Now, if you take a look at these items, we don't have enough to go around, do we? No. So what does this mean?
Sharing is caring. Rock, paper, scissors.
This means that
You have to share that inner peace.
that is very kind of you. No, it means you have to think strategically. There has to be some kind of planning going around. So note takers, if you take a look on your worksheet on part 2, there's a brainstorm section. So take a moment with your group to plan out what you would like to take from this table. And group ambassadors, be ready for when I call your number. All right, 10 more seconds.
Attention to Miss V, please.
All right, so listen closely. Once you grab an item, that will be your final choice. There will be no takebacks. So choose wisely. The first group that will go up and grab an item is, group number, yes, just one item, just one item. Group number 2. Group number 2, grab your item.
Helmet, get the helmet.
All right, group number 4, grab your item. Group number 4, group number 4. Group number 1, grab your item. Group ambassador. All right, group number 5. Group ambassador from group number 5, grab your item. Group 3, grab your item. Group 3. Group 3. Group 5, grab an item. Group 5. Yes, group 5. One sock. Group 1. We have a dryer sheet and a sock. And then the last group. Think, is it 2? Just take it. All right, so take a moment to kind of get in your feelings and look at your items. Over on the worksheet, there is another section for you to brainstorm what you would like, what kind of method you would use to make paper. Write down what your group received. All right? And then also make sure you fill out that bottom part that asks you how you feel. So group ambassadors, listen closely to your group mates and be prepared to share. You have 2 minutes. All right, you have 30 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All righty. If I could have your attention, please. All right, so group ambassadors, be prepared to share. How does your group feel? Let's hear from group. Oh, just a reminder, make sure that you walk over to this microphone, okay? Let's hear from group number 5. Group number 5, how do you feel?
So we got a sock and a photo frame. We're gonna use the sock. We're gonna put like the liquids and drain it, and then you could flip it inside out to get the paper.
Okay.
And then there's paper on this, so they said that we could use that. And
Okay.
maybe to shape the paper, because it's if you pull this out, it's more of a rectangle.
Okay, excellent. But how does your group feel?
I think we feel okay.
Okay,
We didn't get our first
confident?
choice,
Okay.
but it can work with it.
Okay, I really admire your optimism. All right. Thank you for sharing. Let's hear from group number 1. Group number 1. Yes, so what materials did you receive? What's the method and how do you feel?
We got a cereal box and a sock, and we're gonna soak the cereal box so it falls apart, and then use the sock to squeeze out the liquid, and we're gonna shape it in the sock and then cut the sock so that way you can get it out. And we're like okay with it, I
Okay.
think.
You're okay, you think? All right, well, thank you for sharing. You can go ahead and head back. All right, so everybody, I actually have some really great news for you. You are not going to make paper using those materials in front of you. You will make paper. You will make paper, just not with those materials, okay? All right, so take a moment to think about, this is an individual question. Before paper became accessible, what was used? Take a moment. So let's hear from someone from group number 4.
I think that before they had like accessible paper, they used papyrus and clay to like etch things in, basically.
Okay, papyrus and clay. Is there anyone else who would like to add? What else did they use? Come right over here. What else did they use? Papyrus and clay. What else?
Cuneiforms?
What was that?
Cuneiforms?
Cuneiforms? Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to add? Yes, come right over here.
There was papyrus, parchment, animal hide, caves, and clay.
Clay. Yes, thank you. All right. Yeah, so you are all correct. You are all correct. But the problem is, papyrus was pretty expensive to create. Yes, and clay. Can anyone tell me what the issue might be with clay? Yes?
It's heavy and difficult to transport.
It's heavy and difficult to transport. Okay. So something that they would use was wood. So you are looking at an example of a contract. This is a Cotonese contract on wood. Can you imagine carrying this? Not quite ideal for traveling now.
This is my idea.
Yeah. So you can understand why paper took off and it became really popular. All right, so we're going to go ahead and work on that second part of the worksheet. If you could please flip over to that second page. I am going to show some videos, but the images are on that worksheet if you need to take a closer look, okay? So in your group, discuss what you see. Pay close attention to the details, okay? And then group ambassadors, be ready to share when I call your group number, okay? What do you see? What do you see? I'm going to go ahead and play it again. All right. What do you see? What do you think these artifacts are made of? What can you infer about the different materials used that make up the same documents? Go ahead and discuss with your group. Take a minute to jot down your answers, and group ambassadors be ready to share. Alrighty, let's hear from group number 2. What do you see?
Hustle your chicken nugget.
Calligraphy.
Okay, you see calligraphy.
And then like animal hides.
You believe it's animal hide? Okay. All right, thank you. Let's hear from group number 5. Group number 5.
So my group, we noticed that the writing was in like Arabic, I think. Yeah, and then we also we thought the one on the left looked more like papyrus than actual paper.
Okay.
And then the one on the right looks like a bunch of stacked papers, and up close more
Okay.
to us.
Thank you for sharing. I believe the writing is Cotonese.
Oh.
Yes, it's Cotonese.
It looked
It does. It does. I wonder why. All right, let's hear from group number 1. Group number 1. What do you see?
We see some form of paper with different writing, like
Okay.
in different languages.
Different writing, different languages. All right. Thank you for sharing. All right, so actually all of these documents are made out of paper. Yes, they're made out of paper. So this scroll is one document, and those stack of papers is one document. But it kind of looks like they're different documents, doesn't it? It does, yes. If you take a look at this, the paper is different sizes, different colors. If you take a look at this scroll, there's different colors. So what can you infer? Are they made out of the same materials? No. Probably not. No. So paper was very, it was a very precious resource during the Silk Roads. So a lot of scribes and paper makers had to be resourceful. They recycled. They had to come up with innovative ways to create more paper. And that's why you see that there are mismatched other pieces of paper to that same document. All right, so now we're going to move on to the second video. Again, these images are on your worksheet. I'm going to quickly just play it once, and then I'm going to move forward. So pay close attention. What do you see? What do you see?
Looks like they made mistakes. Somebody edited.
It's just kind of hard to see it.
Yes, I understand. Alrighty. Let's hear from group number 4. What do you see?
We see what looks like some kind of Chinese writing on what looks like much more modern paper. It's all the same kind of uniform and doesn't have that yellow tint that a lot of old paper has.
All right, thank you for sharing. Is there anyone else who would like to add any group? Let's hear from group number 2. What do you see?
The red writing might be a translation to a different language.
The red writing might be a translation to a different writing. Thank you for sharing. Yes, so you are all correct. The writing from top to bottom is in an ancient Chinese. The writing from left to right is in Tibetan. So you are right. Now this is an individual question. What do you think was happening here? Come right over here and share. What do you think was happening?
They could have had somebody translating the writing from ancient Chinese into another language.
Yeah, so maybe some translating. Yes, thank you. Yes, you are correct. So what you're looking at right now is this exchange of Tibetan and Chinese. This is a sutra. So this is a religious document. And this goes on to show how paper really facilitated the spread of religion. We have all of these religions across the trade routes. And what happened when they would come together is that they would exchange ideas, exchange ideologies, and translate. Over to the right, you see some Qurans translated in different languages. Now, these are from much recent times, but you can see that it still went on. So there's a Quran translated in German, a Quran translated in Hebrew and English. All right. Here we have a stencil of a Buddha. So art was also, so imagery, religious imagery was also spread. It made it easier for you to share your creations. And then, yeah, so let's take a quick moment on your final part of the worksheet. You have some exit ticket questions. Take a moment with your group to fill those out, and then I will go ahead and call to order, and we can move to part 2. Okay? You only have 2 very quick minutes. Bullet points are key. You don't have to write full sentences. All right, so you have 2 minutes. All right, so now we're going to move forward to part 2. If I could please have you all come over to my table. This will be a quick demonstration. So before I begin, I just want to let you all know that you are all not leaving paper experts. This is just an introduction on how to make paper. All right, so pay close attention. Can everyone see?
Yeah. No. Brain's too tall.
All right. Yes.
Kneel down.
No, I'm not that tall, guys.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, for real. What is kneeling?
All right, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have all materials in front of you. Sievers, this is your tool. It's the sieve. We have a tub. We have some water. We have a cup. Mixers, this is your tool. Dryers, the sponge is your tool, and the towel as well. And then transfers, there will be a sheet of plastic. That will be your tool. When you have your materials all set up and ready, mixers, you're gonna go ahead and grab your cup and you're gonna come over to this table. And I then am going to scoop some pulp and hand it over to you. And then you're gonna go back to your table and you're going to go ahead and just throw the pulp into your tub and mix it with your hand. I'm gonna add a little bit more because my tub is a little bigger than yours. All right, now sievers. This is where you grab your sieve. You're gonna go ahead and submerge it entirely on till you hit the very bottom. Now make sure that the pulp does gather on the sieve. And then with both hands at the same time, you're gonna go ahead and elevate the sieve. And here you have your sheet of paper. Now, if you have like little parts of more pulp, that's okay. You can just go back under and try again. Okay. And remember, our goal is just to create one. It's not going to be perfect the first time. And then dryers, you're going to take the plastic, place it on top, and then you're going to squeeze out as much moisture as you can, just like this. Do we see?
I see.
You see, excellent, okay. And now you're gonna go ahead and take the sponge and take as much moisture from the sheet as you can. This is very important because when it dries, if you don't take out the moisture, it's not gonna dry fast. And if you leave the moisture, if you still leave it moist, it's going to take a little longer. All right, and now you're going to go ahead and pass it on to the transferer. Transferer, you're going to go ahead and find a corner. You could either kind of like gently peel it, or you could just flip it over and pop out the sheet of plastic, and your sheet of paper should come out. Yes. So this is your end result. And then you can go ahead and leave it on your table. And if we have enough time, you can create another one, and you just have to talk to me. Now, this is what happens when you add a little bit of pulp, okay? You can see right through it. This is what happens when you add, a little bit more pulp. And this is what you get when you add a lot of pulp, okay?
Good.
Yes. Understood? Got that? All right, so go back to your stations.
Pulp equals good.
Yes. There's a student that asked, what is the pulp made out of? Well, the pulp is made out of old recycled thesauruses. Thesauruses, yes. Thesauruses. All right, so mixers, if you are ready.
Yep. I get a lot of pulp.
The word pulp.
Oh, more pulp.
So just a reminder, I will be open during nutrition and lunch if you want to create your own sheet to take home, but this is for you as a class. Now let's take a moment to answer at least one of the exit ticket questions together. So when I call your group number, group ambassadors, be prepared to share and remember to speak into this microphone. So let's answer. Question number 2. The Silk Road was more than just about silk. It was about the exchange of ideas and materials. Think about how you share ideas and materials with others. How are you like a trader on the Silk Road? Let's hear from group number 5.
So my group said that we transfer ideas through like texting each other, or like during lunch when we have questions on homework or something, we all like collaborate and we share ideas and we trade answers and we show each other our projects. So through school, social media, all that stuff.
Okay, thank you for sharing, group number 5. All right, let's hear from group number 3. Let's hear from group number 3. How are you like a trader on the Silk Road?
We exchange ideas with our classmates every day, like helping them with homework and stuff.
Okay, thank you for sharing. All right, so let's answer question number 3. Different cultures interact and learn from each other through trade. Think about how you learn from people who are different from you. How can you be more open to learning from others? Let's hear from group number 1. Group number 1.
When talking, ideas can get spread from different people to other people, so they get to other places.
Okay, so exchange information. All right, thank you. Let's hear from group number 4. Group number 4.
When you're around people that are different from you, you get an extra insight from them, which allows you to have a more full picture, I guess. And you can be more open by just consciously realizing when choices that you make are closed-minded or not good choices.
Thank you for sharing. Let's think about food. So that question made me think about food. So think about how like the foods every day that you eat. How are they all mixed up and stuff? Do we see something? Would anyone like to share anything they eat that is very, yes, come right over here.
And a lot of food is made up of a lot of cultures, and especially in like during times where a lot of cultures were kind of mashing together through the big like boom of trade. It means that like a lot of foods are very ethnically diverse in their origins.
Yes, correct. Awesome. All right, everybody. So that was our Silk Road paper making workshop. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something today. Thank you.